Hey everybody, it's your Sam and I am here with another video. Today is going to be my short story from the January character randomizer. The link is going to be down below for the character randomizer show. So you can see how I came up with this character and story. I will also have a link down below the playlist for the former character randomizers that we have had. So make sure to check them out. If you are interested in joining any of the character randomizers, I will have a form that you can fill out, linked down below as well. Without further ado, here is Harpy M. Jafed. And we will arise to make this world perfect for our lords, he cried, arms wide under the flickering candles. Behind him, the sparklers went off, highlighting a picture of the Queen for a few moments before the smoke engulfed the yellowed tent. They say that dogs are man's best friend, but this cat was setting out to sabotage that theory. The Queen was everything a ruler should be: kind to her subjects, a leader, fierce yet understanding, and above all, the cutest cat in the world. As a Maine Coon, the Queen stood taller, bigger, and grander than any cat. Her beautiful thick coat was white with stripes of gray, making her look like a white tiger. Her looks and demeanor should be enough to pull anyone into her fold. But it wasn't. Harpy M. Jafed, an elf of pale flesh and hair, found the Queen in his darkest hour. As a short elf, all races hated him, including his own. Being envious of his betters didn't make him the best elf to be around either. The Queen took pity on him on that fateful day. As he thought over his troubles in an alley between taverns, the Queen wandered up to him and placed her paw upon his knee, and he became her first subject, the first to realize her plan to make the world a better place, and the first to become outspoken in her stead. For as a queen, she only spoke when needed. The rattlesnake he called Clever slithered around his queen and settled. Clever protected their queen, never leaving the warmth of her fur, and basked in her presence every day. Clever had been with him for a few years. Their partnership was bound by greater cause since the Queen sauntered into their lives. Harpy smiled as the people of the audience stared at the snake and gorgeous Queen. Together they were curled upon a red velveteen pillow in the center of the tent. The Queen liked being the center of attention. Harpy never feared for her. She was smart, and there was always Clever to scare off even the most brave among their followers. She will save us from the calamities of man, the world burning, the way man devours all around him. Our Queen is indeed our goddess. A splattering of applause met his statements, and, being in the South, a few amens too. Then the impossible happened. As he opened his mouth, the tent flap opened, and the dog entered. Brown spikes matted the medium-length fur on the large thing, making its true color unknown. It looked around with large dark eyes until that gaze landed upon the pedestal, with tiny stairs spiraling down to the red carpet that led to and from the pedestal. Clever rose, hissed, and rattled. The Queen stared at the mongrel. The dog hunched, becoming larger as it growled. Queen stood, stretched slowly, her regal gaze never leaving the dog. Her fluffy tail flicked back and forth as she sat back down, primly placing her paws in the center of the pillow. Clever curled about her again, tighter this time, protecting his Queen. Harpy swallowed, the rest of his sermon spilling from his mouth as half of the poor humans in the tent hadn't noticed the dog yet. His words were capturing them still, and he hoped they would until Clever could deal with the dog. The queen had other plans. She placed her paw upon Clever's back and patted it. Then that tail rose straight up in the air as she stood and made her way down the spiral staircase. The dog huffed, barking, and that drew the attention of the congregation. Harpy, knowing his words would be lost, stopped his sermon and watched. Horror gripped his heart, but his faith in the queen made him hold still. She had a plan. He had to believe she had a plan. Queen stood still at the edge of the red carpet, facing the muddy cur. In a tent made for her, she seemed the larger of the two, a mighty tiger against a pup. Still, the dog growled and raised its hackles. She licked her jowls, her eyes softening around the edges as if she was about to fall asleep. The dog whimpered, shifting from paw to paw as if unsure whether it was the prey or the predator. All others in the tent knew what the dog would become if push came to shove. The queen lifted her paw and stepped out onto the muddy ground, striding toward the half-growling, half-whimpering dog. She stopped before it and sat. Her fluffy tail curled around her paws as she regarded this thing that entered her domain. The dog cowered, making the queen larger than it. Her right paw came up and she licked it, twice, before placing it on the nose of the cur. The mud slid off in a river of slush, revealing a cream-colored mutt, young, beautiful. The dog lay down, tail wagging ecstatically. Murmurs began, then cries of praise. The people in the tent clapped and celebrated the queen's powers and kindness. The queen, followed by her new subject, returned to her pedestal and the comfort of her royal pillow amid the torrents of awed cries of her human followers. And that, my fellows, is one example of our queen's gestures and powers. Harpy breathed with a grin. Today was a grand day. I hope you all enjoyed this little short story. I know I kind of enjoyed writing it. It brought a grin to my face. Thank you for listening, and I hope that the little pictures up on the screen here just kind of made your day. If you haven't yet, subscribe and follow my path to becoming a published author, aka one of the bestsellers one day, I hope. Make sure to like this video and check out the other videos on the playlist as well. Be kind to one another out there. Be kind to yourself. Keep writing. Keep being creative. And I will see you next time.